Well, we talked too soon. Whoa, good morning, y'all. Or whenever you're seeing this, it's morning right now around here. It's not great down here in southeastern Kentucky. We're flooding pretty bad. It's the worst that it's ever been in our 5 years living at this property. And we don't really have flooding issues because we have really good drains. We're kind of up on a little bit of a hill. Everything usually flows pretty good down to our creek, the main creek. And unfortunately, it kind of hits our neighbors pretty bad, and they get flooded in their pasture. But we're getting so much that it's starting to flood us pretty bad. So we're having to keep an eye on it. It's getting really close to our store. Of course, thankfully, our animals are in a barn way up there.
No, I was in this.
We're doing breakfast. Thankfully, the animals are fine. We just got to make sure we keep some hay in there, keep it dry. But we definitely are keeping our eye on this stuff. I pray for any of y'all that are in the face of this that you're okay, because this is the worst I've ever seen it.
It's bad.
It is bad.
If it's bad here, it's really bad everywhere else.
Yeah, and the problem is because we flooded last week, and we haven't been able to regroup from that, and now we're getting 4 to 6 inches of rain today, and that's not good. That is not a good number to have. So we'll keep y'all updated. We'll show you some shots of the flooding when I go back out there, because I'm about every hour I'm going out and checking it, and thankfully this guy can handle that. So the lights just flickered. That's fun. That's fun. Alrighty, it's gonna be a good day. Good day. Well, this is new and not good. Our chimney is leaking in to our home. Like, I'm not even sure why that's happening on the chimney, because I went and looked at it. It's just, everything looks fine. I think it's just so freaking saturated that it's leaking through the rocks. And so, like, here's behind our garage, which that flows to this drain that flows here and out that way, but we're starting to really puddle up down there. And everything that's coming from the hill all down to this drain is just saturating that, so it'll probably get to the building soon. I mean, this is gonna be catastrophic for people. This is bad. So now we're headed down by our store, which you can see we're starting to puddle pretty good here. And then this little creek we have here, I mean, barely has water in it normally. It's actually, we call it a rainy day creek, because when it's sunny, it's just dry. But you can see how it's starting to leak over to here, so we got to keep an eye on the store. Unfortunately, it kind of looks like my drain might be clogging a little, and that's a problem from debris. But you can see over here, and it's still flowing out, just not at the speed we need it to. And so all of this will probably end up in water into the greenhouse. And it wouldn't be too bad if this is it. Like, we have this storm this morning and it'll end, and then things can start recovering. It's gonna do this till the whole day. And as I'm shooting this, it's about 10:30 in the morning, and we're gonna be having this till tomorrow. And so, oh goodness. It's really bothering me that it's starting to come into the house. That's not good. See, there's the chimney. I mean, nothing looks out of sorts by any means, besides that it's just extremely saturated. And it could be just because the rain's so hard, it could be getting under my cat too and coming down the chimney that way. That could be what's going on too there. Hopefully that'll chill down if the rain calms down a little too. Now we got the wind. I mean, this wind is crazy, y'all. Can you hear it? I'm absolutely shocked the tree hasn't come down yet. Okay, so at this point, you've now seen all of the flooding in kind of our little area that we have. There is so much more just right down the road. Those last clips that you saw were literally right here, our neighbors, like right beside our garden. If I know it was a broken record yesterday, but we got lucky that the rain stopped when it stopped. It was supposed to go all night, or like the whole day, but thank goodness it pulled north. It stopped probably around 3 o'clock here. Around 3 o'clock, and then we just kind of had a little off and on. But if it rained the rest of that evening like it was supposed to, our garden would have been underwater for sure. And maybe up to the house, I don't know. But there are so many people that are stranded. They can't get across the driveways because it's just the creeks have completely overflooded. It's bad. Like it is bad. What did you say about the rescues? And
there have been 1,000 people that have been rescued statewide, because this isn't just Eastern Kentucky. I think Western Kentucky got it pretty bad as well. I think at the time that you're seeing this, or at the time that we're recording this, they've recovered 8 people, I think, that have passed. And search and rescue is out everywhere, and they're just trying to get to people. When I was in the shower, I could hear helicopters going over. It's wild.
Rescue, search and rescue teams are everywhere. I had to go into town, and it's just they got the rafts, they got the boats, they're taking them out and just trying to find people and help people that are stranded. So it is quite the scene.
And it's ongoing event, because unfortunately, like when the river does crest, that's going to flood into other areas within the state. So that will be like a second flooding, basically. That'll be really bad. And then once all that recedes, then it's time to clean up. And we haven't even cleaned up from the last flood that we had in 2022, or the tornadoes in 2021 or 20.
It was 2020, I think.
20. No, we were here.
Yeah, that's right. It was 2021, I think. It's been rapid fire since 2020. Everybody gets over that, and then 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. It's just been storm after storm down here. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. Oh yeah, about the rivers. So I think Tuesday, we're filming on Sunday. Tuesday is when it's supposed to hit like its crest, like its peak to flooding. So like she said, we have today, tomorrow, and Tuesday is still flooding because we're just full of creeks. It's mountains that the water flows into creeks, and the creeks flow into the river. So the Cumberland River is the one that's here, and it's still rising. So it's still going to rise for a couple more days until it starts going down. So this is going to be a while, like she said.
And I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand why this part of the state, and mostly Eastern Kentucky, does flood so bad. And it's because we're completely different than the rest of Kentucky. We are in the mountains, and it rains so much here. And when you get rain like this, it flows off of the mountains into the creeks, and it floods everything. It's the Appalachians. It's just a different kind of outlay of the land than most places are.
And we have so many springs here too. So under our ground, when water is flowing as it is, that's why our creeks are so wet and moving. So we never have a lack of water around here. Once it becomes springtime, that's why like our area is so green. We are green before anyone else, but it's because we get so much rain. It's just unfortunately the flooding is part of it. It's one of the reasons we moved here. As a gardener, this is one of the most rain-totaled areas that you could ever find. And that's great for a gardener and farmers and such like that, because you get nice, lush green grass. Unfortunately, you have to deal with some of these storms that come with it.
I know people joke a lot about different states being like 4 seasons all at once, but truly in the last 24 hours we have had 4 seasons. And that's why it can be so dangerous living in this area, is because when it hits, and it's very devastating.
And like you all saw a video that I did earlier last night and this morning, and today it's the wind. So we're going from like 60 plus degrees yesterday to like 20 degrees today, and so the wind is just pushing this massive cold front to us. And now we're gonna have trees breaking, we're gonna have trees just uprooting because the ground's so soft, because this wind is just absolutely insane. And then we have a bunch of snow coming this week. It's crazy. It's crazy. It really is wild. But we love it. We just pray for all the people that are hurt or injured or not able to get out of their house, or their house is full of water. Let's just keep them in our prayers and hope for the best. That we are in a state of emergency. Somebody had asked us, we don't know. All we know is there's a state of emergency. What we do know is the last time this area got flooded, there's nothing. So that's when your neighbors, the Appalachian neighbors, got each other's back. Checking on your neighbors, make sure everybody's okay, giving people what they can. I don't think people down here really expect anything from anyone. We just try to do it we try to handle it ourselves for the most part, but we'll see on that area. So with that being said, our property is good. I did a check today. Thankfully, I mean, we just really had some limbs go down. We had some trees fall down. We had one fall across the road here, but that's been cleaned up and we don't have any damage.
Lots of tin on the barn, but that's nothing new.
Yeah.
It's the ongoing thing that we have to replace, but the wind just rips it to shreds.
Yeah, and if you saw the chimney, we get that checked out. I did a little investigation. I think whoever did the last roof, which was in 2020 because it's when we bought the place, their caulking they did on the chimney looks pretty crappy. I'm just being honest. So I think that is cracked, and I think the water, like we're so saturated, we got so much rain at once, it kind of came through. Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
It gave a little PTSD into our older life.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
It did.
It took me back to a very insecure place that I did not want to be at.
Yeah, we've been in some interesting homes in our past, and so when you have this one, you're like, it shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But it is almost 100-year-old home, so there's going to be some weird things like that. But we'll check that out once it gets a little warmer. All right, y'all, keep praying for Kentucky. Keep praying for all these people that are facing these storms. We'll give you updates as we have them. But other than that, I think that's about all we got for you today. Yeah. We love y'all.
Love you.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye. Well, we talked too soon. So this tree has fallen on to our cottage, which the second house on our property. There's our property. That sucks.